It's getting harder and harder not to sound like a conspiracy theorist these days. But look, when the big holdup that's gridlocking the government is whether or not to strip away health coverage from tens of millions of Americans, and the health secretary is aggressively pushing anti-science policies that chip away at vaccination rates, food safety regulations, and sound dietary recommendations, it's hard not to conclude the Republican health plan is just poor people dying, right? I saw an Associated Press report the other day where a couple of journalists tracked down all the anti-science bills in state legislatures that are attacking vaccines, water fluoridation, and milk pasteurization requirements. Just those three conspiracy theory hobby horses. Guess how many they found? 420. 420 bills designed to ease vaccine mandates, remove fluoride from drinking water, promote raw milk consumption, undermine the scientific consensus, and replace sound health policy with conspiracy theories that Robert Kennedy learned about on YouTube. The vast majority of those 420 bills targeted vaccines, and they came in a variety of forms. Some would ban discrimination against the unvaccinated. Others seek to criminalize the kinds of harms that naturally arise sometimes out of vaccine programs. And there's even a bill in Minnesota that tries to label mRNA vaccines as weapons of mass destruction. And given the level of stupidity that we've been dealing with out of the anti-vax movement over the years, it's easy to think of this as the byproduct of like a stupidity critical mass, right? There are just so many people out there that are so fucking dumb about this shit that it's inevitable that we would turn against science en masse. And maybe that's true, right? Maybe that's what happened. But when these reporters dug into those 420 bills, they didn't find an organic groundswell of support for whooping cough and measles. What they found instead was a politically savvy network of operatives closely connected to RFK Jr. And look, I'm inclined to believe that people like RFK Jr. are true believers, right? Who actually think big milk is out to get them. When you've got a fucking brainworm tunneling through your gray matter to the point where you don't even know not to swim in raw fucking sewage, it's really hard to apply any argument based on him having to know better. But Kennedy's support necessarily spills over the rim of conspiracy nutters. Just, like every respected medical body in the world, damn near, has come out at this point against Kennedy's woo-driven policies. And yet he maintains the unwavering support of Donald Trump, the most fickle and disloyal human being that ever existed. And he manages to do all that, by the way, despite the vast majority of his past policies vis-a-vis abortion, equality, environmentalism, and all that shit being anathema to the MAGA movement. I mean, again, I don't want to don a tinfoil hat here or anything, but you've got to ask at a certain point, who benefits from all this? Other than America's adversaries, who benefits from a population that's being actively turned against science? I mean, no matter how nefarious you imagine the corporate bigwigs to be, it's hard to see how they profit off a fucking resurgence of polio, unless, of course, they're after the exact population decrease that they keep telling us that they're after, and they want to concentrate it amongst the least educated. And look, given how speculative all of this is, I normally wouldn't bring it up, especially in the diatribe, right? It's ultimately irresponsible to promote unevidenced theories based on this level of presumption. But the point I'm out to make isn't even the potential conspiracy. It's about the fact that the biggest flaw in it is that it smacks of wishful thinking. How fucked up is it that we've genuinely reached a point where thinking that a cabal of power-mad conspiracy theorists are intentionally undermining public health in a genocidal effort to eliminate the poor and uneducated might be too optimistic? Because the other possibility, the more likely one, if I'm being honest, is that the stupidity is genuine and self-sustaining at this point. Because look, if there's a bad guy or even a cabal of bad guys, they can be eliminated. You can take out or expose or arrest or disempower the bad guys, and we can start to rebuild the trust in science that they've set out to undermine. But if ignorance is seeped all the way into the foundation, there might be no way to save it but to rip the whole fucking thing out and start over again.